I was so excited the other day to see that our asparagus is popping up. I don't blame you if you can't see it because I desperately need to weed. So that's what we're going to do today. Before these guys get too tall, we're going to try to do as much weeding as we can. I think we have about 4 or 5 rows in what looks like lawn here. And no matter how much we try to get on top of this, something always seems to get in the way. So join us for the fun. We're definitely going to be wearing bug jackets today while we weed, because the bugs came out the other day. And somebody might call me crazy, but I'll take the black flies any day over mosquitoes. Because when the mosquitoes first come out, it's a lot. Anyways, and I still get itchy from their bites, whereas the black fly bites I no longer seem to react to after being in the country a few years. So that's the good news for you guys moving out into the country. The black fly bites may seem horrible at first, but it gets better. Anyways, here we go. So while we were weeding the asparagus, we thought before we weed whack, we'd better save the asparagus we could find. So I picked that, and I thought it'd be a great time to show you the rainbow pasta recipe that I promised earlier when I did the chicken seasoning video. So let's get started. So now that we've made the chicken seasoning, we're going to make the sauce for the rainbow pasta. So 1/2 cup of almond or cashew. The original recipe calls for cashew. And 1/2 cup of water. So we're going to blend that on high for 2 minutes, approximately 2 minutes, till it's nice and creamy. All right, now that it's creamy, we're going to add another 1/2 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of either cornstarch or arrowroot starch. And we're going to blend that again until it's silky smooth. So we've got a pot of water boiling. I'm just going to add our bow tie pasta. And while that is cooking, we're going to chop up some veggies. So the original recipe calls for fresh peppers chopped up, but we have frozen, and that's going to work just as good. So we're just going to chop these a little finer. It's nice when things are pre-cut anyways. Makes meals later quicker. Before we add our chopped vegetables to the skillet, we're just going to put in 1 cup of water. Just stir that good and add in our chopped vegetables. Chopped pepper. Now we're going to add our chopped onion, 1 to 2, depending how large they are and how much you like onion. That's the great thing about this recipe, is it's really flexible. Today we're actually we don't have all the vegetables that we would normally put in, so we're going to add some different ones and That's the nice thing about it, is it's more about having a rainbow of color than exactly what you put in. So the original recipe called for 4 cloves of minced garlic. We're going to put in dried minced garlic because that's what we have, and I'm going to guess about a tablespoon. So since we didn't have any fresh mushrooms, we're just going to put in canned mushrooms. So we're just going to saute our vegetables and then add our cream. So now that our vegetables have sauteed, we're just going to pour in the cream sauce. And we're going to let it cook until it thickens. It's starting to get nice and thick now. The smells are making me hungry. Now that our pasta is basically almost done cooking, we're just going to throw the asparagus chopped up on top. We're just going to let that steam for a few minutes. So now that that's steamed, we're going to just take it off and drain it. So we're just going to pour this over our yummy pasta. Let's stir it in. For the original recipe, you can head over to our food blog at fromthegardentoyourfork.com. I'll put a link in the description below. That's good. I think I'll need a little more. Well, we're hungry, so we're gonna go. So we've had lunch, now we're back out, we're gonna finish up the job. I'm going to put some C90 on the asparagus before we lay the straw down. And basically all we did was we gave up on the weeding and we weed whacked instead and raked it off. And it's gonna have to be good enough. I hope it's good enough because it would have been a really long day otherwise. All right. So I thought I would stop and take 1 minute to explain what C90 is, because I had somebody ask in a previous video. I had mentioned it. So it's C as in SEA, like the ocean, 90, and it is basically evaporated ocean water. So it has all those micronutrients. I've heard that asparagus likes salt. I use C90 anyways in my gardens, maybe not as heavily as today, but basically we're going to give it a shot and see how it does. So now we're going to cover it with straw. That's it for here. We have a few other projects we have to do. We put on 3 bales of straw. It could probably use more, but we're going to wait to see the asparagus come up through, and then we'll probably mulch the pathways a little heavier and maybe mulch around the asparagus. We'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, this straw had been left outside, so as you noticed, we had to struggle with separating it and getting it light and fluffy, but it should be fine, and at least it got used. And we'll see you guys later because the bugs are really bad. Until next time.